the ego replaced the inner mystical marriage with an external bureaucratic surrogate. The institutionalized ego pulled off the ultimate fracture. On a vertical level, it convinced us that God is somewhere out there in the clouds, while you are down here, forever separated from the divine. But it committed a less obvious and far more tragic crime on the horizontal level. It weaponized the institution of marriage to enforce a state of permanent, lifelong separation within the human psyche. The institutionalized ego of the religion outlawed the most organic tool we have for inner awakening. As Carl Jung deeply documented, human consciousness expands by projecting its unconscious, unintegrated parts onto partners. Relationships are meant to be a dynamic, evolving mirror. We project, we experience the reflection, we withdraw the projection, and by integrating it, we step closer to internal wholeness. But by declaring that a physical union must be locked once and for all under its strict institutional control, the Church did something catastrophic. It froze that evolutionary mechanism in place. It chained people to a single static projection for life, making it mathematically impossible to naturally progress through the deeper stages of self-realization. By turning a fluid psychological laboratory into a rigid dogma, the institutional ego guaranteed that your psyche would remain fractured. It trapped generations in a state of arrested development, ensuring you could never achieve true inner union. Simply because an unintegrated, self-aware human being is a human being who can no longer be controlled. Down through history, the mystics, the deep practitioners within the religion, were the whistleblowers trying to expose the heist. Sages like Meister Eckhart, Jesus of Nazareth, or the Sufi master Ibn Arabi were essentially screaming to the crowds, "Look inside. God is not a tyrant in the sky. The kingdom is within you. The sacred marriage happens in your own heart." But the institutional ego couldn't afford to let people discover their own inner space. So it responded the only way a terrified ego knows how. It burned the mystics at the stake, banned their books, and offered an external bureaucratic surrogate instead. The ego said, "Forget the inner union. Here is your rule book, here is your hierarchy, here is your guild tax, and the only sacred marriage allowed is a social and religious contract approved by the institution."